Okay, should be up now.
Yes, we are live back.
Cool. So guys, I do apologise for the lateness of this stream. I've had technical issues on my end, which is a bit unreal for a change. But hopefully we should be good to go. So we should be good to go. We'll check.
Yes, mate. I just confirmed it with the league admins, and we are good to go. So we are up for 18 minutes of qualifying, and then we have finally and hopefully the French Grand Prix.
Fingers crossed, mate. And as I say, I do apologise, guys, from my behalf. Obviously, I don't know exactly what happened. It started streaming, and the next minute it just crashed. But hopefully, it shouldn't happen again. But we will be good to go. So it's going to be very interesting. And the like target this evening, guys, if you'd like to give us 5 likes, but if you give us more likes, then it'll be very much interesting indeed. I will pull the stream up just so I can see exactly what's ongoing on the stream as well. But as we say, Wojciech has said there's 18 minutes of qualifying, and obviously it is a 50% race. From what I believe, the weather forecast is looking a bit very interesting, and it will be very much amazing to see exactly what can happen. As we got told before, there is not many people here tonight, but that is understandable. But we'll just have to make do with how many drivers we have, and hopefully you guys do enjoy the stream. So Wojciech, what are we reckoning this evening then, mate?
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's the difference from last week. We had English. We've been on Silverstone, where we saw just simple one-stop strategy. It's a bit different here because, especially for top 10, which obviously will start on the softs. So we probably will see some two-stop strategy, which is always more interesting. Since you lost the time in the pits, it's usually about 20 plus seconds. So I'm really looking forward to it. And moreover, we can have, and this is the main talking point here, we can have our title decided tonight.
Yeah, of course. And it's going to be very much interesting to see exactly what they can do for this evening, because obviously the title could be decided, but obviously we were talking to Living Wall before, and he's on a mission by the sounds of it.
That's true, and we've been talking about deciding a championship title, but on the other hand, we have still a battle between McLaren and AlphaTauri going on in the constructors. There is after last week, there is a 2-point difference, so it's gonna be more than exciting to watch the battle throughout the rest of the season.
Of course, yeah, and that's going to be bringing it into perspective, because you've got McLaren on one hand and obviously AlphaTauri on the other hand, and I believe there's only one McLaren racing, so it's going to be very much interesting, especially here at Paul Ricard, because not only have we not commentated on it before, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
That's true, and so we can watch first drivers is Ginger Tiger, and all the and the party trap going on the first flying laps.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, mate. As we say, the two racing points, they were on point last week at Silverstone, and it kind of opened up the gap there for them. But it's going to be pretty much interesting. It's just obviously there's going to be margin for it, especially going down that long straight before they get into I believe it's turn 5 and 6, but it will be.
Two. Absolutely true, and those two straights are divided through a tight chicane, and it's really crucial to get on the throttle after you pass these tight turns to get yourself to the maximum speed as quick as you can to obviously hold the guys behind you in the race. So I'm just watching Ginger Tiger just going through the last corner to the straight, and we will have some first lap time here.
Yep.
It's 1:29.1, decent one, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's not a bad lap time round here. But obviously it's the benchmark because you got Keiran, well you got JSP now topping the time to a 1:28.7. So that's going to be very interesting indeed.
Yes, hopefully we will see some low 28s. I'm hoping for that, because those guys in F3 are super competitive.
Yeah. So it's looking like the Pasmar to sell. Obviously the Mercedes, you know, he's obviously a very quick guy, and he's obviously wanting quite a lot of attention, should we say, because he's the home favourite.
Yes, of course. You're absolutely right. Pasmar Dussel in his home Grand Prix so far on a 4th place. Hopefully, it's always pleasure to end up on a podium on your home Grand Prix, isn't it? So, your best of luck for this Frenchman.
And don't get me wrong, just looking at the timing screen now, Livenwald, the Swedish driver who's in contention to win the title this evening, with a 1:28.3 there. So it's looking like
brilliant one.
So it's looking likely he wants to get this lap time in and get very close to winning the title. So what's the McLaren going to do?
Yeah, and like you said, in the constructors battle, Lemmingwall is the only McLaren here, competing with two AlphaTauris, so he will make sure that he'll get as much points as possible.
Yeah.
One for winning the championship, and the second reason to score as many points as he can to stay in the battle with AlphaTauri in constructors.
Yeah, of course, and that's what we're going to see, as we can see many people, bar Party Trev at the moment, actually going into the pits because they're slowly running out of fuel. But I believe that's just strategies. But we do have 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, so they've still got bags of time to get faster lap times.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The first lap should be the laps, let's say, to be sure that you don't get your time deleted. So it's, let's say, a sure lap time, and then you can pit, change your tires, and try something more as the time of the qualifying running out.
Yeah, of course.
But there's 10 minutes to go, so it's plenty of time to do a few more laps.
Yeah, and I think that's what most drivers like to do, because obviously they're going to try and think about their strategies ready for the race, and obviously it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens. Especially for like the top three in the race or qualifying, you know, if like the likes of Delanga gets second on the grid, you know, he's got to realise, well, he's going to have to push Liverpool all the way to potentially try and take the title elsewhere. Especially when they go into the latter part of the races, because there's only 3 races after tonight. And that's what's exactly going to happen. But we shall see exactly what happens.
Yeah, that's really true. We saw, let's say, half of the field to go for second laps. I'm just watching JSP, who will begin the flying lap just above the 2 corners. And first time 128.7. It's pretty decent, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's for what he's achieving in the Renault. He's trying to put the fight up to McLaren, and of course Racing Point, and then you have obviously the 2 Mercedes behind him, which will make it very interesting. And then obviously you have Keiran, his teammate, behind him. Well, not behind him, but essentially in the top 6 as he goes wide there into turn number 2 there.
That's true. We saw JSP meanwhile did a mistake going wide in sector 1. And meanwhile, I'm watching Ginger Tiger, who's completing his flying lap, about to go to the last corner. We're about to see how he will improve.
Be very interesting, I'll tell you that. Excuse me.
Yes, it's 128.8 for Ginger Tiger, puts himself onto P3 provisional.
Yeah, and that's going to be very close to see exactly if anyone can match his time. You've got Keiran's up into 4th now. He's obviously got that speed of the Renault with a 129.0, and that's going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens with him. But it will be very interesting to see exactly with kind of the likes of the Renault, because they're obviously on home turf as well, so it'll be anything can happen.
That is true. So we have so far Livingwall on the top of the field with the provisional pole, lap time 128.3. Will there be someone who will beat it? That's the question for next 6 minutes.
Yep. It'll be very interesting. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone can match Livingwall's time or trying to beat him. It would be very close, but at the moment you got Steel BL, who's still trying to push on for his last lap time, but I don't know whether he's going to be jumping into pits this time. I believe he's... yeah, he is. So he's abandoned that lap. So you got Party Trev going through sector 3. I think he might abandon his lap, but we will see. So it looks like the racing points at the moment are kind of one struggling and the other one isn't. But it'll be interesting to see exactly what they can do, because they've got just under 5 minutes to go. So it looks like
Trev decided to pit on the last possible moment.
Yeah, he's decided to abandon his lap there. But looking at what Reshka can do, I believe Reshka's up for the fight for the title. Just going into sort of the title battle. But from what Livingwall has to do, he has to try and finish better than his title rivals, basically. So Reshka's going through the final turn. That time's put him still like fastest at the moment.
And it's really interesting though, mate, because I'm seeing, I'm just watching Reshka, and right a few moments back it was Trev, and both has not the soft compound tire, but the mediums. And I'm thinking, since we haven't got so much people on the grid, we have 13 drivers tonight, maybe it's worth of a gamble to start on a mediums, and maybe if you can manage your tires, you can still be with the one-stop strategy.
Yeah,
so interesting pattern here.
Yeah, that kind of looks kind of an interesting thing, like you said there, Wojciech, because it looks like the top 6 are on softs, and then the rest, Posty hasn't done a lap yet, but the rest are on mediums, and you might as well get the mediums over and done with and then go on to the softs that way. But each driver has different strategy, as we know, but it will be very interesting to see exactly what happens. So we've got 2.5 minutes coming up very shortly. But it looks like Posty hasn't done a lap time yet, as he struggled in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, it's so easy to pick up some time penalty. I mean, just to cut the corner or go wide on these open kind of circuits like we have tonight. So yeah, he's probably struggling to set some lap time, and he's just started his flying lap, so it will be interesting to watch.
It will be very...
he can point somewhere higher in the field. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. No, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does, because obviously he's been thereabouts. We know at Silverstone last week he was very quick, and he's potentially going to be on the back foot if he's not very careful. But it will be very interesting to see exactly what happens. So I'll just be back in a sec, because I need to lip to the loop. So I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah, so far he's doing really good job. Just going to the last sector with, I believe, decent time. This one is a tougher. It's really tough corner just to brake and then go on your throttle early and not much, just to spin around. So it's really tricky out there. And we're watching him just to go into the last corner. We do have, it's P6 for Posty, 129.3.
So as you were saying, Posty's gone up to 6th. That's going to be very...
He got up to 6, but the interesting thing I mentioned before, he was doing the lap time on the mediums.
Ah, yes, he was, yes.
So it's really interesting position here for Posty. Starting on the grid on 6th position and on the mediums. And just to remember, guys, with the mediums, you're able to do a one-stop strategy. Will it be faster or not than the two-stop with the softs? That's a question, and we about to see the answer few laps in the future.
Yeah, go into exactly what you were saying. He set that lap time with a 129.3 on the mediums. That just shows the medium tyre will probably work well round here. And don't forget, from what I've heard, the weather forecast is going to be probably very interesting. But obviously, as time goes on, it will be very interesting to see exactly what happens. And obviously you've got obviously the two Ferraris and Fozzy at the back of the field, with Nitro Gash in 13th and obviously Malc in 12th.
Sorry mate, just to interrupt you. I'm just watching Living Wall, who puts let's say at the first JSP put the fastest time 128.3, about some few hundreds of seconds faster than Living Wall. Then Living Wall with the new fastest lap 128.1.
Yeah,
that's a real killer.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It just shows exactly how that lap time will change. And I think because Living Wall's on a title charge this evening, he's gonna want this. Excuse me, as I cough down the phone or the headset. But yeah, Living Wall's gonna want this for his title, from what he was telling us before.
Yeah, he's trying to do the maximum possible to get the championship title tonight. And in the end of the qualifying, we can see that the sky is getting a bit more clouds in there.
Yeah.
So the weather will be really interesting to watch throughout the race.
Of course, yeah. And it's going to be very much interesting to see exactly what happens. Because you got Living Wall that's on pole position. He's like 0.186 seconds ahead of JSP and the Renault, and it looks like the Renaults are on good form here, which may make it very interesting for the race.
That's true, and we can see just top 6 on a soft compound tire. And obviously top 10 drivers from the qualifying need to start on the tires they put the fastest lap on. But as we saw from P7 to 10 and below, of course, guys try to or set the lap on the mediums. So this will be really interesting to watch. Perhaps two different strategies battling to each other.
And I think that's what's going to be very interesting, because, like you say, you got the guys on the softs, you got the guys on the mediums. It's going to bring a whole world to a bit of a challenge, shall I say. But it looks like at the moment it's clear skies, but we don't know yet. That should be very...
Yeah, something happens. Someone cleared the sky above the Paul Ricard circuit. So
I think someone's tried to stop doing the rain dance, is what they tried to do. But yeah, it's gonna be very important, and it's probably going to be very interesting. You know, with 13 cars on the grid this evening, That may play a lot of advantage, it may not, but we'll see exactly what happens. But fingers crossed it's a good race. Seems to be a long wait.
I hope not for some difficulties. We had it in at the start, so please fingers crossed to get everything smooth as
possible.
As much as possible.
Yeah. I believe it's not our end, so we're okay. I think it's just making sure everyone's getting ready. Yeah, just put that asking if everyone's ready.
Yes, guys getting ready on the starting grid. Just the last final touches to their strategies, and we're about to see. I think that will be really exciting battle because of the strategy difference.
Yeah, I think the strategy will play a handful for some people. It may work to some advantage. Live and Wall himself knows exactly what he needs to do, but there is some fast guys behind him, and obviously with Posty in 7th on the mediums, it'd be very interesting to see exactly what these guys can do.
Of course, we can see the guys getting ready. So we have at first the formation lap in a few seconds, I believe.
Yep. So it will be a green flag lap, and it will be very interesting to see exactly what these guys will do. So we get ready for the formation lap, and it is going to be a 27 lap race.
Yes, we do have 27 laps. We can perhaps say there's a dry forecast, as we can see. Skies really clear, as the difference to the end of the qualifying.
Yeah, it looked like in qualifying it was absolutely going to throw it down, but at the moment it looks like the sun is out and it's going to be very warm at the moment. So looking at Ginger Tiger's strategy, he's on a 2-stop. He's going to go straight from the softs to the mediums and then from mediums to hard. It will be very interesting to see exactly what he can do. So obviously the Racing Point will have a strategy. I don't know exactly how many strategies are going to work out, but it'll be very interesting to see exactly what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely true, buddy. I'm just thinking that the top 6 guys who are starting on a soft will have the 2-stop strategy, and we'll see if the remaining grid will do the 1-stop. And that will be really exciting to watch which one will be the faster one.
Yeah, and from what I'm going to say here, I'm just thinking out the box here, is I think the mediums are going to end up going to probably push on a bit, but is that my prediction, or is it something that I think might happen?
Yeah, we'll see. Difficult to say at the start, but we will see. But now, just go on the grid where the drivers are lining up, waiting for the 5 red lights to start the French Grand Prix.
Yep, it's going to be very interesting. We see the 5 red lights about to turn off any moment now, and they get underway. It looks like JSP has a bit of a launch there, which he's launched himself in up into first place, going towards turn number 1. But he's looking...
so far it's nice and tidy. Oh, there's Ferrari in the back going a bit of a wide, but so far a clean start.
Looks very interesting indeed. It looks to me that, just looking at the timing screen, that living walls.
It's always a bit shuffle in the first few seconds of the race, but we saw a JSP in the front. He had a hell of a start. That was really incredible.
And it looks to me that living walls lost a bit of ground though.
Yeah, he's at P7, which is really surprising from the pole. But you cannot lose, you cannot win. The Grand Prix in a first turn.
Yep.
So it's much of a marathon than the sprint. He has yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, it's
Reska.
gone. So.
Yeah, Reska caused the yellow flag in sector 3. He's got going again though. And that's not going to do his credentials any good for trying to catch up for the title at the moment. But it's looking likely just going to Steel BL, trying to get up to Ginger Tiger at the moment. It looks like the Mercedes is going to try and have the power on the racing point.
Yeah, that's true. And like last week, there's some train just making up in the midfield. There's Living Wall just trying to go in the inside on Posty. Who's on the medium tires, and Living Wall is on the soft.
Yep. So
we can see probably some overtakes in a few corners, I believe, because the difference is there.
So that's going to be very interesting, because it looks like Living Wall's trying to make up lost ground from the start of the race. He's obviously got to try harder, because he knows for a fact it's going to be very difficult. Especially with his title nemesis DeLanga behind him. So it's going to be very interesting, because we're on lap 3 out of 27. But at the moment it's going to be looking very close, especially with, I believe that was Pasmar Dussel just getting past Cairns for 4th place. We just caught the end of that. But then
that was real nice overtaking. Cairns dropping back.
He's dropped back a bit. Because Posty's just got past him, and Living Wall's going to be catching him very shortly.
Living Wall will be the next. They're going wheel to wheel.
Yep. So it's going to be very interesting. Living Wall gets the place done. Cairns actually goes.
Tough one, but Living Wall done it.
Yeah.
And the Renault is in a real problem, because he went from, I believe it was 4th place to 8th in just one lap. He's on a back foot, isn't he?
He is, yes. He's looking at him now. He's looking likely he's either struggling or he's not got the power that he wants to have. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens come the end of this lap. But it looks like he's locked up there. He's got Matty behind him at the moment. But looking what's going on, it looks like it's going to be 3 cars wide. or is it going to be too wide going into?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, mate, but it's so tight in the midfield. We have Posty. I'm sorry, we have Pasmoa Dussel, then Posty, Delanye just joined the pack, and Living Wall, all guys right behind themselves.
Yeah.
Just mixing and shuffling those positions. It's just really exciting to watch them.
Yeah, just cutting in front of you there, mate. It looks like Keiran is really struggling because Party Trev's got up into 8th place there, which is kind of surprising because obviously he was having a bit of a battle, but looks like Keiran is really struggling because he's got 3-second penalty.
Oh, now he got just a time-seconds penalty. I'm just watching his front wing, which is the main pain point for the drivers, because it's really easy to get damage on your front wing, and it's I believe it's not really clear, but Keiran's just dropped a lot of positions in a lap or two, and he's again struggling with the pace. I believe there will be some damage possible.
Yeah,
and now he's going to pits, so
it could be very interesting. He could have, like you say, he could have damaged his front wing, which probably would have cost him quite some ground, and obviously that's what's cost him to lose so many places over the last 2 laps. So it's going to be very interesting. Just going back to, if we can, Living Wall. Just looking at what he's going to do. He's got Delanga in his sights, but he's got to be careful, because whether he has Delanga in his sights or not, he's got obviously DRS open. But looking at Delanga, he's going to try and make a move on past Dussel there. But
close one. He will have next opportunity in a straight with the slipstream, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be
very. Can he do it?
Oh, Living Wall's going to try and make the both of them. Oh, that was close. Well, that looks like there's a bit of. Was there a bit of damage, or was it just a bit of carbon fibre? It's hard to tell, because...
Hard to tell, but in these contacts, it's, like I said, it's really easy to pick up some damage on your front wing, and it always causes less downforce, so you can't just go through, especially the fast speed corners, you cannot go with the top speed possible.
Yeah.
And it really causes you a lot of seconds time loss.
Yeah, so it looks like it costs you a lot of momentum, and it looks like actually Pasmoa Dussel has actually had to pit. Maybe he did have damage, but be interesting to see exactly what happens. But it looks like at the moment Delanga's got Party Trav trying to chase him down quite spectacularly here. As Party Trev actually gets...
Yes.
Yeah, he's got
this is the midfield we were hoping for. Ongoing battles, wheel-to-wheel action every lap since the start. It's really joy to watch.
Absolutely, mate. And this is the thing, you know, it's going to be very close to see what happens. But at the moment, Living Wall's got to still try and get at least a couple of more places to try and get the title to him. But we'll soon work it out when we get a chance.
Yes, that's true. So far we have JSP, who had amazing start, and he's absolutely fuming because on the second of the grid is Steel, who has 4.3 seconds difference on JSP. So his pace is absolutely incredible tonight.
absolutely, and seeing what's exactly happening, even though he's just looked to break, but Posty's going to be on a massive charge, getting Ginger Tiger into the next DRS run, by the looks of it.
Yeah, we have just Posty just past Ginger Tiger, who got out of the DRS zone on steel, so it was quite an easy overtake for Posty.
Yeah.
Because the DRS, obviously if you're in a DRS range, which is less than a second than the car in front of you, you get a massive boost on a straight.
Absolutely, and that's what Posty's trying to do, because he's obviously using that Alfa Romeo to his advantage at the moment.
Yes, we're watching this just still going into pits.
So that's going to be very interesting to see where he ends up.
Yes. Oh, he got stuck by a McLaren for just a quick time, but every tenth of a second counts here.
That's going to be very interesting, because Liverpool and of course Steele are in the pits, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens come the rest of the field making their strategies. But we'll see exactly what happens. But going back to JSP, from what we're saying, his lead's getting bigger and bigger. It could be a massive change of fortune for JSP.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying out there, but he needs to push, to be honest, because as we can see, Posty on the second place, he starts with the mediums and JSP on softs.
Yeah.
So there is the difference in the strategies I've been talking about, and we will see how this pans out. Obviously, it's just without any safety car role in the race.
Yeah. It looks like at the moment the Langer's under threat from the two Ferraris just cutting across you there, and it probably will be that even though Malc's got a 3-second penalty, he's obviously wanting to get past that AlphaTauri just to try and see exactly what the Ferrari can do.
Yeah, they're both cars hunting down the AlphaTauri of Delanye, and looks like Malc will have a chance to pass him on the next DRS straight.
Be very much interesting to see what Malc can do, because there's almost a bit of contact between the two teammates, but obviously it looks like, and just looking ahead here, looks like Party Trev's got past his teammate, but he's also got a 3-second penalty for that. It's very interesting to see exactly how close these cars are. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2.
Oh, it's one of the Ferraris.
It's Nitro Gash.
It's Nitro Gash, actually. He has some kind of situation here.
Yes, it looks like he's he either lost it or he had a bit of contact, but I don't see anything visual with his car, but it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens.
Yeah, I think he probably just lost it. It's really easy in the chicane, which separates those two straights. It's really tricky if you go on the power on throttle, and it's a really tricky part, because when you push that too much, you can end in a wall, or you can end spun in just a blink of an eye.
Yeah, so it looks like Posty's inherited the lead, because JSP's jumped into pit lane, same with Ginger Tiger and Delanga. So that's going to be strategies to look out for. It looks like from Steel BL and just Living Wall and the rest of the fields that are in that sector. On the hards, you've got Pasmar Dussel on the mediums though. And he's got Living Wall behind him.
Yes, that's true, and also JSP just pitted for a hearts. He got himself the first stint a bit longer, so he probably trying to manage the one-stop strategy just from soft to hards.
Yeah, it looks like it could be that way.
Yeah. That's a bit of a twist for what I predicted.
I think with this strategy game, like just going into detail, we predict so many different strategies, and then obviously the drivers know themselves exactly what to push on for.
Yeah, that's true, and you also need to react on the situations going on around you when you're racing. So sometimes it's just 1 second decisions just to switch from one strategy to another.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of hampers, because you've got the two Mercedes at the moment trying to escape from Living Wall in that McLaren, but it's looking likely that Living Wall is going to try and push on a bit.
Yes, nice DRS train from 3 cars to Mercedes, and obviously Living Wall in the McLaren going, oh, he just almost lost it.
He doesn't want to be doing that, especially when he's in a title fight to try and win the championship. So it's going to be very interesting because we're on lap 11 out of 27. So we're still a bit of a way till the checker flag drops, but it looks like Living Wall's going to try and get onto the back of this group. He's obviously got to be very careful because he doesn't want to ruin his race.
Yes, of course. He's just hanging on the back of a Pasqua Dussel. Now he has the chance to get DRS. But obviously even Pasqua Dussel had just passing his teammate onto DRS straight.
Yeah.
It's a magnificent job.
Absolute fantastic
Maybe
move,
part of a team strategy.
It could be. It could be a team strategy. It could be the faster guy might be, such as Pasqua Dussel, could be like, as we say, yeah, okay, he's on home turf, but he could be the faster guy out of the two of them.
It's always a bit different situation that when you have your teammate around and you should have passed him or let him pass you. It's really a bit of a different situation than if you have other drivers coming on your back.
Yeah, I suppose that's the way it goes, and obviously like what we're seeing here, that he's obviously trying to eke out that advantage now, because is he trying to back up Steel into Living Wall to try and hold him off, so Living Wall's title nemesis, or his nemesis, could bring up more points. But it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens come the latter part of the stage of this race. Well, obviously we're still on lap 12 out of 27, but it's going to be very close indeed.
Yeah, we do have some guys pitting. It was the last bunch of guys who didn't pit since the start, and almost everybody is on the hards.
Yeah.
So I think, except Pasqua Dussel, who's on the mediums, and I think everybody thinking going to the end on those hards.
It's going to be very interesting because like you say, apart from Pascal Dussel, who's on the mediums, everyone else is on the hards, and I think that's exactly changed our recognition and probably changed our thinking to having a bit of reputation for changing strategies. But it looks to me at the moment that obviously with Liverpool trying to chase down Steel for 4th place at the moment, but I think Pascal's going to struggle with them mediums. If I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not too sure, but he might struggle because everyone seems to be doing harder tyres at the moment.
Yeah, it would be really difficult for him to go throughout the end. He perhaps hoping for some safety car, and that's really that could be a wild card here. But to going throughout the end on those mediums, it's gonna be really hard. I think he cannot manage it, but we will see.
Well, exactly, and we'll see what happens. But you know, he's like you say, he's probably hoping for a safety car, which is probably going to be a curveball into. Obviously, with Liverpool, he's got a 3-second penalty now. He doesn't want this. He needs to realise that he can't afford that.
Yes, he's still trying to pass Steel in front of him, just on his gearbox, but now he got really nice exit. And on the DR straight, yes, there's a breezing past the Mercedes.
Yeah, it looks like that Liverpool, even though he's got his 3-second penalty, it's going to be very much interesting to see exactly what happens for these guys, but it is going to be a handful, especially on the mediums for Pascal Dussel. You know, he's got to. It must be. Excuse me, as my voice nearly goes, but he's obviously seemed to have that rhythm. But is he going to have that rhythm come the end of the race? But we'll soon find out, because obviously it looks like he's doing exactly what he wants to see what happens. But at the moment, fastest lap is a 1:33.0, but that's obviously race trim, but it's not as fast as it was in qualifying. But it looks
interesting is just seeing how guys. I'm watching just Posty, which is a good example of the strategy difference. We saw JSP starting on who is still on front, but the difference getting smaller and smaller. And Posty just closing on him, and there is the difference. Because JSP had both cars had hard tires, but JSP pitted 3 laps earlier than Posty, and just throughout the end, especially in the last laps, there can be some pretty big difference.
Absolutely, and I think that's what we're trying to explain with the mediums and the hards and also the softs. You know, the strategies have gone, obviously, I don't know whether the drivers were thinking, well, you know, the strategies has to come into play. But from what I've seen here, as Posty sets the fastest lap with 1:32.8, you can tell them hards that they're a lot more fresher than JSP's, because they're only 3 laps old and JSP has them for 6 laps.
Yeah, it seems that Posty has really awesome pace now in this stint on the hards. Obviously, he has time penalty. I believe it's 3 seconds. But still, he's right behind JSP. So if he can just pass him in a ongoing laps, he has a chance to, with this pace, to win the race.
Yeah, it may look like that he has the pace to win, even though he's got 3 seconds. He may want to get them 3 seconds up the road and potentially escape that sort of time penalty, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And just going back to Liverpool, he's actually made his way up into 3rd place.
Yes, I was just about to say the same, mate. He's on his nemesis, like you said before. And Pasqua Dussel just pitted right now.
So it looks like
those mediums. Yeah, those mediums didn't quite do the job through at the end, so he rather pits.
It's going to be very interesting with 10 laps to go, though. Because he's obviously gone from his mediums to... I believe he's going on to the hards.
He went also on the mediums. But I think he had some opportunity to go even on softs, because we had 10 laps to go, which is... you can make it on the softs. Plus there is a lot less fuel than on the start, so you can last a bit longer on those tires. Interesting pick, but he's not really risking anything.
It seems like you were saying that, you know, you could go back onto the softs and you could potentially push on a bit, but from what I'm seeing on the graphic though, he's gone back out on the mediums. Is that another tactic? Is that just showing that he wants a fresh new life in the mediums? Because that's another.
He's kind of doing the strategy we predicted. It's 2 stop from softs to mediums and other mediums.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting. Oh, Steel BL's retired from the session.
It's maybe some connectivity issues, but he's back, I believe. Or isn't he?
It looks at the moment he is...
That's really unfortunate for Steve. Hopefully he will be able to get back, because he is on a 4th place. So fingers crossed for him.
It's going to be very interesting because he's got Party Trev and Matty behind him at the moment. But it looks like at the moment Matty's going to try and make a move on Trev. It looks like he's joined, so he's going to be
just after he has been overtook by Matty and Trev. Still be just joined. Hopefully he will be able to get control of his car.
Let's hope he does, because he was doing so well to keep that 4th place for a while.
Yeah, he had great race so far. It's really rotten luck, but it seems he's back.
Oh, he's got a 5-second penalty for speeding.
Penalty.
I think his frustration's now got the better of him for that. But it's understandable. They are racing drivers, and it does happen.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I remember my connectivity issue, which got me out in the last lap of the race. It was really frustrating.
And just going to the fastest lap of the race, Pasqua Dussel with a 1:32.6. So it looks like the times are coming down. It looks like Pasqua Dussel on their mediums, 2 laps old, mind you, and it looks like the hards are struggling at the moment, though.
Yes, of course, but we can see in front just Posty, who had great pace so far. Now still, it seems he's stuck behind JSP, who's defending really well.
It looks like
still
it
in
looks.
DRS range, but wasn't able to pass him.
No, it looks like that. Don't get me wrong. I agree. And it looks like Posty's catching that Renault potentially to try and spoil the French people or spectators having a party for Renault this evening. But it looks like it's going to be very close because not only have we got 7 laps to go, but JSP looks like he's going to. Is he struggling, or is it just the lack of grip? Who knows?
Yeah, JSP probably knows he hasn't got any time penalty, so he can just keep his pace going. Nothing really, nothing aggressive, nothing to. Not say nothing to worry about. There is always something, especially Posty, who's coming at him right now.
He's going to go for the move.
Trying.
Wow! There's a bit of contact there.
That was really unfortunate for Posty.
We had a good view of that then as well.
Even the second position to Living Wall.
Yeah. So that's gonna be very interesting because Posty's now gonna be livid with that move. He did have that move sewn up, but obviously it looked like JSP closed the door. But
and I'm just since the Living Wall just made his way onto the podium, onto second place actually. I'm just watching the points table and just doing a quick math in my head. But perhaps we will see the championship title decided tonight.
It could look that way from what I'm kind of thinking in my head myself. It looks like that Living Wall could have the championship sewn up. It could be very interesting. It all depends on obviously what happens in the steward's room. It could be, but at the moment Living Wall looks like he's going to probably get into obviously lifting the title. He's got one hand on the trophy, he just needs to keep it together, and it looks like with the Mercedes at the back of the field, they've obviously had a bit of a solid run so far, but Steel BL with a 131.7, so it looks very interesting to see exactly what happens.
Yes, of course. Just except the start, Living Wall had a great session tonight so far. The start wasn't really. He probably didn't think it will go like that. It could be done better, but it always can be done better. But after the start, he did really good job, just overtaking, just keeping his pace. And yeah, so far it's second place, and if we will not pick up some more time penalty, it stays like that, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, and it looks like Keiran and the other runners decided to pit towards the end here, but it's probably because the harder tyres were on 16 laps old, and he's obviously decided to make now's the time to go back onto the softs.
Yeah, just he probably don't want to risk any kind of puncture on this really old parts, so rather pit than to make it into a wall in the last lap, which is
yeah, that's something you don't want to be doing.
Really unfortunate.
Just going back towards Matty and Party Trev, just as I saw when they were going into the chicane. It looked like Matty was getting close. There was a yellow flag in sector 2.
Oh, it's Dylan, yeah.
Or was he made a mistake?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Looks like he's got going again.
Is the chicane between those two straights. Like I said, it's really tricky out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's very tricky, and anything can happen between now and the end of the race, though. But it does look like that he's, you know, is he obviously trying to push on, obviously, but he knows he might know the title might be over, but at the moment we don't want to put commentator's curse on everyone, but it's going to be very interesting going into the last couple of laps here. So it's looking likely at the moment that Liverpool may wrap up the title. So who knows?
Seems just like just one battle ongoing, which is Matty and Trev. Matty is just trying to overtake him.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Tough battle, wheel to wheel. Oh.
Was so close then in contact.
Couldn't make it, but he will have some more chances here.
Yeah, it looks like Matty's going to be on a massive charge in that Red Bull though. Racing.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah.
It's really tricky in this part of the track because those few corners are at almost maximum speed, so even the smallest mistake could be fatal.
Yeah, and it looks like that Trev's trying to escape from the Red Bull, but it kind of looks like Matty's going to try and get him this lap, I think.
Yes, now he has the RS wide open, so another look. But he's probably harvesting some energy into ERS and save it for a next DRS straight, which is right after those few corners in a first sector. And it's the best opportunity for an overtake on this track.
Yeah, and it looks like with obviously the ERS is obviously going to try and pull a bit of momentum. Matty obviously wants to try and fight for 4th place at the moment. He's obviously going to try and do exactly what he did a lap ago, but he's not close enough yet. But it looks like that he's going to get closer this time though.
Yes, and as we can see from the telemetry, Party Trev has almost depleted all the ERS. But on the other hand, I'm just watching Matty, who's got almost the same. And the ERS could really power the F1 car just to make an overtake. You can switch between two modes. Let's say first one when you not deploying so much energy and harvesting when you braking, and the second one which is really the overtake move. Mode, sorry. And it's really common to use when you really want to push your car to the limit. And combined with the DRS, with the rear wing open, it really gives you a tremendous boost.
Yeah, and it looks like that Matty's just looking on board with him at the moment, just as the camera goes on board. It looks like he's trying to get ahead of Trev, because he probably wants obviously a good result this evening, but obviously with 2 laps to go it's going to be very close. Or he's going to try and make the move now, or Trev just closes the door there though.
Yes, and since we are getting into an end, we just have JSP really dominating this race just from the start on the first place. Second is Posty, who after quite a situation with just a contact with a touch with JSP got back on a second position.
We missed that as well.
And then we have Living Wall on the third.
Yeah, and it looks like the top 3 at the moment, bar in mind there's no mistake with like 1 lap to go after this, it's going to be very close, I think. But
Yeah, really. It's really probably hurting Posty because he has some awesome pace again, because he got back to the GSP and into a DRS range, but still there is a time penalty he will serve at the end of the race, but JSP is still without any penalty. So now is the Posty's move on JSP done perfectly right now.
We just missed that just looking at Liverpool, but it looks like that, you know, whatever happens, is the title going to be won, or is it going to go to next week? It's going to be very hard to discover exactly what's going to happen.
Yes, but I think we can just manage. There is 3 main points which Living Wall needs to just to beat. First one, outscore Delangye about 12 points. We can see Delangye had an incident. He got spun in the middle of the race, or a few laps back, sorry, and he is now out of the points. So that's the first thing. Second one is outscore Reshka by 3 points. I believe Living Wall had that covered, since Reshka is on 5th position so far. And the last is to outscore Posty by 1 point. But this condition is, so far, it's not, and he needs to cover all of these to win the title tonight. But Posty's really keeping his pace ongoing, and it's really amazing.
And he's now, when going to Reshka, it looks like he's going to try and get Trev down the back, well, down this straight here. Well, it looks like the title may go to next week, though, if we're not careful. But I don't know, because my maths isn't as good as I think it is.
And I'm just watching, not only that JFP was overtook by Posty, he got some time penalty as well. Oh, that really hurts in the end of the race. But now the guys coming into the last corner.
Looks like Posty's going to get it though, which he does.
Yes. So it's a race win for Posty. Congratulations to him. Second one is JSP after a tremendous race, but just after some unfortunate events at the really end. Third, Living Wall, who besides the poor start did also an amazing job.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. So it will be Posty, JSP and Liverpool that will join us in the commentary box. But we shall see.
So, we have amazing race, I think, Hoppers.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think so. It's looks like it was going to be very interesting. There's going to be a few talking points, I'll tell you that. And I believe we have JSP in the commentary box with us. So, let's wait for the other two. So it's going to be very interesting when we do these driver interviews, because obviously you got Posty that started 7th up into the lead of the race, and that's going to be a massive boost for his morale, and it potentially will be very interesting. But I believe JSP has joined us, so we'll hear his points as well. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what will happen.
Yes, I believe we do have all 3 guys from the podium right here. Just guys, make sure you have your voice allowed to be shared. Just the guys on the stream can hear you.
So we'll see who's here, and we'll get into the questions. And obviously, guys, just remember we are still streaming, and hopefully you guys can hear us correctly and all correct. I'm going to say congratulations to obviously Posty for an outstanding victory from 7th on the grid, and you know, I do feel like the strategy towards the end, catching JSP after a bit of contact between the two of you, how did that make you feel for the rest of the race?
Well, yeah, it was pretty stressing when I out with JSP. I was a few laps behind him, trying to save some ERS, trying to save some fuel, and then I chose the wrong moment to go for the pass. I had taken the previous turn really bad, so I didn't have like a good gap to really go for the pass, so I was really straight and mad at myself. At that moment, I really believed I had messed up the entire race, but I'm really glad that JSP got that penalty for getting, I don't know what corner at the end, and that allowed me to win.
That's a fair point, and obviously, you know, like you made a mistake, but is that due to the tyres, or is it just due to pushing hard, or is it something else? But you know, obviously I'm new to doing this sort of thing, but I'm just trying to get an insight from a driver's point of view.
Yeah, I think it was because I was pushing too hard at that moment. Like the previous few laps, I was relaxed and everything was going fine. And then when we started that lap, I said, okay, next DRS zone, I'm gonna go for the pass. So on the first couple of corners, I really pushed really hard to be really close to JSP. And then in one of those corners, the car slided and I lost like probably half a second. So then when we were on the DRS zone, I wasn't close enough to go for the pass. So I think it was mainly because I was pushing too hard at that moment.
Okay, that sounds really good. Obviously, co-commentator Wojciech might want to ask you a few questions. So when you're ready, Wojciech, just ask away.
Yes, sure. First of all, congratulations, Posty, for the French Grand Prix win. I just have just one brief question. After this win, what are the expectations throughout the rest of the season? Because I'm seeing you're just on the 4th place so far in the championship grid. And both guys, I mean all of the three, but Reshka and Delange, who's in front of you, just didn't make it quite on the podium. So what are your expectations?
Well, the expectations that I have for me right now are in the championship on the second place. I believe trying to beat Living Wall is totally unrealistic at this point on the championship. Mainly, I just want to do good on the next few races. I want to try to aim for the win as I have on this race and on the previous one. I've seen that if I put in the effort and the practice, I can win. So that's my main goal for the next few races, just try to win the races.
That's pretty good, mate. And JSP, is there, bud?
I'm here, yeah.
You had a comfortable lead in that race, and obviously with the pit stop strategies as well. If you don't remind me, just correctly try and remind me what tyres you started on. And do you think that you would have had the race win if it wasn't for that time penalty?
Yeah, the defeat from the jaws of victory with a time penalty was a stupid one. It was actually on the outside of the corner turning in. I was just looking to see where Living Wall was behind. I kind of felt, yeah, I had the race fairly comfortably there. I wasn't too worried if Posty kind of came past and started slipping into his DRS and let him drag me along for the rest of the race. But yeah, I started on the soft. I was surprised more people didn't put a bit more effort in on the softs in qualifying. You can just about do soft to hard here, but obviously more people went with the medium. It was just dragging them out really for the first stint to around lap 9, and then the hard will go the rest of the race. But yeah, definitely one that got away.
Yeah, it seemed like between me and Wojciech when we were doing commentary, we were having the conversation about the softs and the mediums during qualifying. It was obviously the top 6, and then obviously down from 7th to on the mediums. It kind of thought that was going to be a strategy come the race, but obviously the harder tyres come to a factor. Do you think round here, obviously I've never raced round here myself, but do you think the hards are the way to go, or do you think it's a mixture, or is it down to your strategy, or is it down to the team itself?
Probably the quickest one is always going to be medium to hards, I think, around here. But yeah, I mean, it depends how much you want grid position, really. You can make the softs work. So if you've got a good qualifying position, and you know I've had a reasonable qualifying, then yeah, I think it's probably worth giving the softs to hard to go. But otherwise, medium to hards is probably a bit quicker.
Okay, it's quite an eye opener for me. But what are your aims for obviously the remaining rounds? Obviously we've got some quick. I think is it Shanghai next week, and then obviously Catalonia, then obviously on the streets of Singapore. What do you reckon's going to happen with the Renault come the latter part of the races there, or start of the races, or is it yet again a team game, or down to yourself?
Yeah, I'd just be happy with a couple more good races and perhaps another podium before the end of the season. It's been a busy year for me, sort of away from racing. Really, I haven't had the time to put into setups and stuff as I would like. Probably France is the first one I've been a bit prepared for a while. So yeah, if I could just have a solid end to the season and another podium, I'd be happy with that.
That's fair play, and I'll hand you over to Wojciech, who's got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, that's true. Congratulations to the second place JSP. It was a really dominant pace throughout the race. Just as we talked about it and saw it, just you had some minor situation with Posty a few laps before the end. If you can just walk us through the final laps from the incident to the end. What were you thinking, and what were you trying to hold on or pass him? Just walk us through it.
Yeah, initially with Posty, I was probably resigned to the fact that he was going to come past me. His hards were probably in better condition, and I think he had a little bit more pace. But because he had the 3 seconds, I wasn't too worried about that. He had a good run on me down into the chicane. I was expecting he'd probably have a go there, but I don't think we made contact. I hope not, anyway. But yeah, when he spun, I really didn't expect to see him again. So it's fantastic last few laps from him to kind of get back on the pace. And yeah, I really thought I had it, but obviously not to be this time.
Cheers, mate. And Living Wall, congratulations on getting third place. We thought you were going to have this in the bag, mate, and obviously there has been some reconciliation from a bit of a start that was kind of average from our point of view, but you're the expert. You may talk us through it.
Yeah, I had a really good qualifying starting first, but then I think I had one of my worst first laps ever. I think I was suffering a little bit from that glitch when your tires are cooling down while standing still on the grid, so when we actually got off the grid, I had no pace at all. I just got passed by everyone, it felt like, and almost got involved in a couple of incidents as well, but I managed to keep the car on track at least and start to work my way up the field basically. But it was a really hard race from that on. I just tried to come back and chase down Posty and JSP basically, but if I could have stayed penalty free I would have got it, but yeah, that's just how it is. They did a great race, so just congrats to them.
Yeah, of course, and obviously you talk about the tyres not being, I'll probably say up to optimum running temperature here, but is it, you know, is that something you need to learn on for the next couple of races, or is it just the way it runs? So I don't know, I'm a commentator, not a racer, but is that something you're looking to improve for next time out?
Yeah, I mean, I think my tires were a little bit cold already when I was going into the start-finish line, but then they were dropping even when I was standing still as well, so it didn't help me at least, but then again, I can't blame that. Like, if I would have been driving better, I probably could have won, but I wasn't good enough today, so this is how it is. I'm still happy with the podium.
Does that mean it's going to hamper your title? Is that going to mean next week you're going to have to try harder to try and win the title, or do you reckon it's going to be good enough, or do you reckon come the last three races of the season are you going to have to push on and try your best? Or I don't know, it's very difficult to ask this question because you are leading the championship, and obviously you got the likes of Posty and JSP that have pushed you to a challenge this evening, but is that something you were expecting, or is it different?
Yeah, I mean, as the season has prolonged, I mean, everyone has got their pace, so it's just to trying to keep practicing and get the time in there, just to, you know, get better at it all the time. Like my closest competitor, Delange, I think he didn't do this 4 points tonight, so I mean, I think next time in China I hopefully can wrap it up in the driver standings, but then there's also a big battle still left in the constructors, so that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, of course, and at the moment it's looking like you're the sole McLaren out there, and you've got the two AlphaTauris just before Wojciech asked your questions, but is that added more pressure, or is it kind of easier running yourself?
I mean, I would have liked the help of a teammate, of course, but yeah, now it's just on me, so I'll just gotta do the best out of it.
That's fair play, mate. And I'll hand you over to my co-commentator Wojciech to ask you a couple of questions. I'm sure he's got some crackers and probably some corkers, and hopefully we see you on the top step in China, so best of luck.
Thank you.
Yes, true, mate. First of all, congratulations to the third place, mate. You did excellent job throughout the field. Lots of overtakes. As you mentioned, you had not the best start you can imagine, but I'm pretty sure you can improve that over the next tracks. Also, you answer one of my questions in advance, to be honest, and that was the close battle in the constructors. US in a McLaren has still just a 2-point lead in front of AlphaTauri, so it's going to be really interesting. And we do have last 3 tracks, which is China, Spain, and Singapore. Which from these tracks you like the most and the least?
I'd say Catalonia is the one I not prefer out of those 3, but then Singapore I think is the best one for me out of the 3. I really like those street circuits, narrow ones, and hopefully Zach Brown could find another co-driver until then.
Yeah, hopefully that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So thank you very much.
Go on, Wojciech. Carry on. No, you crack on. No, you crack on.
Yeah, I was just saying again, congratulations to all of you 3. Thank you. It was really fun race to watch, and we just can't wait to the next one.
As I can say exactly the same, and you know it's going to be very interesting going into the final 3 races of the season. So guys, the stream is going to be closing very shortly. You can stay until we close, or you can go and do what you need to go and do. But I wish you guys all the best for the last 3 races of the season, and hopefully it is going to be a thrilling and enthralling season end. So best of luck, guys, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Wojciech, just a couple of talking points why the guys leave the commentary room. It seems to me that maybe Liverpool kind of had that strategy. He knew that, you know, after the start the tyres looked like they'd gone off, but is it going to be very important to see exactly what he can do come next week in Shanghai? But maybe the weather might play a factor. I'm not too sure what the weather forecast is going to do, but it seems to me that it could be very interesting to see what is going to happen over there.
Of course, we saw a lot of raining in China in past seasons, so it's gonna be definitely one to watch. And of course, we don't want to forget the last round of the season, which is Singapore. And we can say the city circuits are always a bit something different and more exciting, especially if we mention Monaco or Singapore, which is really tight city street circuit, and it will be really fun to watch.
Absolutely, mate. And just before we close the stream, I can't believe how well Posty, after that contact, had pushed himself back up into the first place, and it just shows how it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely true. Because imagine this: you trying to pass one of your opponents, and when you're trying to do that, you just got spun. You get out of the rhythm. You need to get back on track. You need to come back with the pace. It's really frustrating to have such a moment. And Posty showed us today. He was really amazing comeback from his side. So he really deserved the win.
Absolutely, mate. So until Shanghai, we'll see you then, mate. But I've been Hoppers, and alongside me has been Wojciech, and we'll see you guys over in China. Ta-ra, guys.
See you guys. See you. Bye bye.